Wait, you packed a whole pharmacy, Penny?
Well, what if I need something? I can't just rely on hope, Max.
Hope? Nah, I rely on vibes and sunscreen.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Traveluptuous. Today we're going to talk about traveling with medication, something that's super important but can be a little tricky if you don't prepare.
Yeah, trust me, I learned the hard way. You can't just throw a bunch of pills in your backpack and hope for the best. Who knew, right?
Yeah, shocking. Anyway, if you want to avoid getting stuck at airport security or worse, without your meds when you need them, stick around.
Oh, and subscribe if you don't want to get stuck at security. Seriously, Penny's got all the good tips, and you might even get to laugh at my mistakes.
Let's get into it. Okay, first thing, always pack your medications in their original packaging. Keep them in your carry-on bag. You never want to be separated from your meds in case your luggage gets lost. The carry-on is also temperature controlled, unlike checked baggage, which can get very cold or very hot depending on the flight.
So what if I just, put all my pills in one bottle to save space? Genius, right?
Not genius, Max. It's actually a terrible idea. You need to keep the original labels so security and customs know what you're carrying. Plus, it's safer if you need medical help while you're traveling. Imagine trying to explain what those mystery pills are in an emergency. It's just not worth it.
Okay. Original bottles, got it. But it's gonna take up a lot of room in my bag.
It might, but it's worth it. You can use small pill organizers for over-the-counter stuff like vitamins, but keep prescriptions in their original packaging. And if you're really running out of space, maybe rethink packing 5 pairs of flip-flops?
Hey, those are essentials. What if one pair gets wet or I need different colors for different outfits?
Well, at least prioritize your meds. Another tip, pack a small first aid kit. Even if you're not on prescription meds, having things like pain relievers, allergy medicine, and antiseptic can be really handy. And don't forget any special equipment like inhalers or EpiPens. Keep it all in your carry-on so it's always within reach.
I guess that makes sense, but what about liquids? What if I have liquid meds?
Great question, Max. Liquid medications are allowed in quantities greater than 3.4 ounces, but you need to declare them at security. Just keep them in their original containers and have a doctor's note if you think it'll help smooth things over. TSA agents have seen it all, but being prepared makes everything faster and easier.
So basically, original bottles, lots of labels, and keep it in the carry-on. Got it. I'll just need another carry-on for my flip-flops.
If that's what it takes, Max. When it comes to TSA, you can bring medications, even if they're liquid, as long as you declare them. Just put them in a clear plastic bag. It's also a good idea to have a copy of your prescription with you. The clearer you can make everything, the less hassle you'll get.
Wait, so what about my sunscreen? Is that going to get me in trouble?
Sunscreen's fine, Max. Just make sure it's under 3.4 ounces. And if it's prescription sunscreen?
Prescription sunscreen? That's a thing?
It could be. You never know. But really, any liquids need to be under the 3.4 ounce rule, unless it's a prescription and you declare it. Keep all your meds together in one bag, and when you get to security, let them know what you're carrying.
See, folks, this is why you book with Trip.com. Get all your flight details sorted so you have time to deal with these things. I don't want to be that guy holding up the line because I forgot to declare my toothpaste.
Good point. And don't forget to declare anything over the limits to avoid any hassles. You can also ask for a manual inspection if you're worried about your meds going through the X-ray scanner. It's rare, but for things like biologics or other sensitive meds, you can request it.
Manual inspection, huh? So I just say, hey, TSA, can you personally check my bag?
Kind of, yeah. Be polite, though. They're just doing their job.
Got it. I'll charm them with my sunscreen story.
Traveling internationally? It's really important to check if your medication is allowed in the country you're visiting. Some countries have very strict rules, and certain meds might be banned. What's legal here might be a controlled substance elsewhere.
So, no suitcase full of cold medicine for every possible sniffle?
No, Max. Some over-the-counter meds here are controlled substances in other countries. For example, pseudoephedrine, which is in a lot of cold medicines, is restricted in several places. You don't want to be detained at customs because you didn't do your research. Always check with the embassy or a reliable travel health resource before you go.
Wow, so I can't just bring my whole medicine cabinet with me?
Not unless you want to risk getting it confiscated. You should also carry a letter from your doctor that explains what medications you're taking and why. Ideally, it should be in English, and if possible, translated into the local language of your destination. That way, if customs asks, you have documentation ready.
So a doctor's note is like a hall pass for my meds?
Exactly. And make sure you bring enough medication to last your whole trip, plus a little extra in case of delays. Also, find out if you can even get a refill at your destination if something happens. Some countries have different brand names for the same medications, so you need to know what it's called locally.
And if I'm staying somewhere without a fridge for my insulin?
That's where Hotel Look or Vacabee comes in handy. You can search for accommodations that specifically list refrigerators. You might even want to call ahead to make sure the fridge works and isn't just a minibar that barely cools anything.
Yeah, I'd rather not keep my meds next to yesterday's room service leftovers.
Exactly. The more you know in advance, the better off you'll be. For temperature-sensitive medications like insulin, you need to make sure they're kept cool. Don't leave them in a hot car. Heat can ruin many medications, making them ineffective or even dangerous.
What if I just leave it in the glove box? It's shady in there.
Absolutely not, Max. The glove box still heats up, especially in summer. Medications like insulin can be very sensitive to temperature changes. Use an insulated bag with a cooling pack. These packs can keep your meds cool for hours, and they're easy to refill with ice from hotels or rest stops. If you're renting a car, make sure it has climate control to keep the temperature consistent.
So, an insulated bag is like a VIP lounge for my meds?
Exactly. And if you're flying, make sure you tell the flight attendant that you have temperature-sensitive medication. They might be able to help you store it properly, or at least keep an eye on it for you. And remember, never put your medications in checked luggage. It gets way too cold in the cargo hold.
Right, no glove box and no freezing my meds, but what about on a hike? Can I just put it in my backpack?
If you're hiking, you still need to keep your meds cool. Use a portable insulated pouch and make sure it's well protected in your bag. Keeping it close to your body can also help maintain a stable temperature. And be aware of the weather. If it's a really hot day, you might need to adjust your plans to keep your meds safe.
So, being spontaneous isn't really an option when you've got meds like this, huh?
You can still be spontaneous, Max, but you need to be prepared. If you're renting a car, localrent.com is great for finding one with climate control, which will make a big difference in keeping your medications safe while you're on the move.
Okay, insulated bag it is. No glove box pharmacy, no freezing, and no reckless backpack hikes without prep. Got it.
If you lose your medication or need a refill while abroad, having a copy of your prescription can be a lifesaver. You should also know where the local pharmacies are and how to say basic phrases like, "I need a pharmacy," in the local language. A little preparation goes a long way.
But Penny, what if I lose my mind before my meds?
Well, we can't help with that, Max. But for everything else, just be prepared. Keep a list of your meds and dosages, and know how to contact your doctor. Some countries will allow pharmacies to fill your prescription if you have the original packaging, even without a script from a local doctor, but that varies.
So a list, original packaging, and a doctor's note? Sounds like I'm going back to school.
It does feel that way, but it's all about making sure you're safe. And if your medication is something critical, consider bringing a spare set and keeping it in a separate bag. That way, if one bag gets lost or stolen, you still have a backup.
Good idea. And what if I need to find a doctor or pharmacy in a hurry?
If you're staying with Vacabee, often they can help you connect with local services. Otherwise, look for international clinics or pharmacies in larger cities. You can also ask your travel insurance provider for assistance. They often have lists of recommended medical facilities.
Wow, so many things to remember, but I guess it beats being stuck without meds.
Exactly. And if you're traveling for a while, especially with chronic conditions, it's always a good idea to have travel insurance that covers medical needs. It's one more layer of protection that can really make a difference.
All right, folks, that's it for today. If you found this helpful, give us a like and don't forget to subscribe. Trust me, you don't want to miss Penny's next lecture, helpful guide.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay safe and travel smart.
And don't forget the sunscreen, prescription or not.